20 minutes left to go. Anastasia, what is your last chance trade?
Well, I'm looking at this sector performance today, and looks like healthcare is at the bottom of that list. I actually think that is the top trade into Q1, into today, to 2020. The reason being is this is, again, the time to chase performance and to look at the underperforming sectors. Healthcare is definitely there at that list, but at the same time, a lot of the concerns around Medicare for All and drug pricing are already reflected in the valuations. So the sector is trading at a 20% discount to the S&P, kind of consistent with where it has traded along the periods of uncertainty. And at the same time, we don't think Medicare for All gets done. We don't think anything really gets done on the drug pricing front. And this is a sector that is delivering 9% earnings growth with consistency. And we think that could accelerate. So there's a lot of reasons to like healthcare. And being that we are in a pretty constructive environment, I think you can look further into biotech specifically. JP Morgan has the 38th annual healthcare conference coming up in the middle of January. And seasonally, biotech tends to perform pretty well into that conference.
Don't you think the range of possible policy outcomes is wider going into this election than in prior cycles? And doesn't that mean a little bit more tail risk for sectors like this?
Yeah, absolutely it does. I mean, we have a lot of candidates proposing a lot of different things. However, if you looked at the performance of healthcare, first around the April timeframe of this year, you had a big debate around the Medicare for All. And because of that, the managed care company valuations have suffered tremendously. So that, to an extent, is already in the price, the worst-case scenario about the Medicare for All. This, the other leg down for healthcare happened around pharmaceuticals and drug pricing around August timeframe or so. So we think a lot of that fear is already reflected. And what we've seen is that, yes, there's going to be persistent rhetoric and headlines, but the actual ability to get something done, something like Medicare for All, we think is a low probability event. I mean,
even if Elizabeth Warren gets elected, because Goldman Sachs had this great chart looking at the correlation of her rise in the polls and the underperformance in biotech.
Absolutely. So if Elizabeth Warren were to get elected, she would also have to have a full sweep of the House and Senate in order to enact a legislative change like that. It is within, to your point, the cone of possibilities, but we have to invest in what we think is the most probable, and that's probably not it.